red side to try and recreate some more change.
Yeah, and if you're Schalke, last game you banned the Varus. That was not necessary. You can go for a Kindred ban instead. I still want to see the Ryze ban on their side. So it could just be Kindred all of Ryze as the options. Now there is a world where they leave it open and they're ready to gamble with the Ryze pick, but I feel like that is Shizuke's #1 champion.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me here is that Schalke don't have to worry about a first pick support because they can leave all of them open. They're fine answering with a Shen or a Braum or an All-Star, something along those lines.
Is open.
Now with Ryze open, it's the best champion for both Shizuke and Nukeduck. I am blown away to see a Braum first pick given all the supports that are up.
Well, let's see if Schalke then take it, or if they're willing to give it over to Shizuke and have something prepared against it. That's kind of big thing. Schalke banned it all 3 games on blue side. Vitality did not first pick it. They're trading supports again.
We also know that Nukeduck's Cassiopeia is sick. He dominated with that champion back in game 1. That's a great matchup up against the Ryze. So in theory, Schalke could wait and get counterpicked. That was a big point on the desk to get Nukeduck the favorable matchup.
So let's see what ends up happening here. Clear for a lot of teams that Ryze is a top priority pick in the current meta here. Amazing needs to find something for himself. The Skylar is gone. The Poppy was not great. Trundle would be a lot easier for him to play, and it is also a takeaway from Kikis.
Now, I wonder if Kikis wants to go to the Poppy himself, because with a lot of jungle bans thrown around, usually you want to play something that can be a little bit more aggressive into the Trundle. The Sejuani isn't really that pick. Something that can deal damage and trade against it both fits the comp and also fits Kikis stylistically.
Yeah, I really want to see what he wants to play. The Draven is open again against the Alistar. Why not go back to something that worked in the last game? And that's what they do. So far, they've gotten the same bot lane. Still not shown the Ryze pick, and if it's left open for the second phase, it might just get banned away.
And this is the first game of the entire series that the tempo is really slowed down, really trying to contemplate each and every pick. And Vitality, for the last few seconds, if they lock in this Galio, there's a counter option available.
Yeah, and the reason I think they don't go Ryze is, as you highlighted, Ender, it's a Cassiopeia pick. Schalke on their side, if a mid lane has not been locked in on Vitality, could have taken it, ban away 2 counters, and then had a great matchup for Nuke.
Yeah, being blue side as opposed to red really limits your options when it goes to picking for your solo lanes, because unless there is that #1 champion that doesn't have any counters and that you can first pick, if you blind pick something, you run into a lot of issues.
All right, Upset wants the Jhin matchup against the Draven, was not happy with the Kai'Sa from last game. Couldn't do anything in the early game. Jhin does have a lot more trading options on his side, but that's a big risk here.
First time all summer as well.
Yeah, big change up here for Schalke. We knew they needed to change things. We thought switching sides was going to be the option, but the Jhin for Upset is the option. I think it gives him a little bit more range, too, to try to deal with Vitality jumping onto him in these fights.
Well, let's see. The Cassiopeia is no surprise. It was the pick Nukeduck had against the Galio in the first game. Now, Irelia, they're probably not too scared of on the side of Vitality after they just beat it with the Galio in the mid lane. Nukeduck on his side. The Ryze again, as we've highlighted 10 times already.
So what other direction can he go? The Camille was a target ban, removing that one both from Kikis and Cabo in many ways. And Vitality, they have to confirm their jungle selection as well as their top laner as they round out their phase 2 bans. In the last few seconds, Ryze is taken off the table.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking now at Kikis, maybe something along the lines of a Gragas that can have that early game impact. Maybe not the best champion on Kikis specifically, because it limits his ability to invade into the enemy jungle, but that would sort of fit the bill for heavy engage and early playmaking.
I just want to see.
Ooh. That's the first time LeBlanc has been left up this series. Because Vitality pivoted and had to ban the Ryze themselves, they could not ban away the LeBlanc that was so good in the quarterfinal match for Schalke.
Does not change the way Vitality can play with the Galio here, but it's still about playing around Kikis and then potentially playing around your Draven lane with the ults. I just want to see if Kikis has something for himself against this Trundle. Trundle is one of the champs he's playing all the time. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yes. Pick. I wanted to say Graves earlier on too, but I was like, nah, he won't do it. That's a little too crazy, but he's back on another marksman, and I love this.
Yeah, nothing is too crazy for Kikis, and I said this last week when we were like in post-game lobby talking about playing against a jungler like Kikis in a best-of-5 can be super annoying because he's not afraid of pulling out some of the new things. And this Graves here was used as a Trundle counterpick a long time ago. Obviously received some nerfs, but it's still very good.
And I want to see this Jarvan too, because this has been one of the best, if not the best top laner for Cabo Shard in this split. It is the heavy engage, the instant ult to start off these fights is going to be so good with that Galio AoE initiate combo.
So Schalke on their side get the Poppy for Chachi and Vanda's Alistar. Clear comfort, and Nukeduck has shown a great LeBlanc before. Question marks around the Jhin specifically. And Amazing Trundle has not been something that we've really praised in the past. And he's counterpicked by Kikis with the Graves here.
Yeah, Graves was one of the initial answers once Trundle sort of got back into that. It was Graves and Kindred. Well, Kikis' Kindred was awesome in the last game. Now he's on the Graves, back on another damage dealer. This is the Kikis that carried Vitality to a second place finish in the regular split.
All right, what do these two team comps want to do? For me, it looks like Schalke are very comfortable looking for picks. They've got a good couple of long-range tools for engage. They've got Nuketax LeBlanc that can play on the side lanes, but you know, what direction do they want to take these two team comps?
Well, for Vitality, it's very similar to the last game where you're gonna see Kikis walk around in the early game with Jizuke to get priority and eventually look for the massive plays around the bottom lane. Perhaps even better in this game now that they have the Jarvan to try and lock Jhin in place. Remember, this Jhin can't go anywhere if he doesn't have Flash and he's trapped inside that Cataclysm.
I think on the side of Schalke right here, a lot of focus is on making sure Nuketox is actually doing well on the LeBlanc because he is a massive late game threat. He is your potential split pusher as well. But if LeBlanc does not get ahead in this game, it's hard for her to assassinate someone with Braum, Galio, and Jarvan. But I will look at the top lane matchup, and I feel like for Coppershot, the Jarvan is there to provide setup for the Galio. I'm happy if I'm Schalke getting the Poppy on the side of Vizicachi.
Well, let's see whether or not Chachi can have more Poppy ultimates to save his team's life. Now, of course, they are 2-1 up. Schalke still have the advantage in this best of 5. For Vitality, there is no margin for error. There is no room for potential mistakes, and already there's some shenanigans up here in the top lane.
Now, here's the thing. Kikis can start with E and get behind Vizicachi.
He has already gone over the wall with the quick draw, but look, it may have been too early. Vizicachi was already backing away. What did Vitality do? There's no slows yet. There's the quick draw. Again, amazing. Will he start with anything else? Steadfast Presence comes out, and that means Chachi started W.
You know, I was really surprised not to see Jack Troll go for a flash Q right there to get the slower trade flashes there onto Vizicachi. I think there might have been more room there, but it's still going to be a big win for this team because Chachi won't have the Q for that lane control at level 1.
But now again with Kikis already invading, getting vision in the enemy jungle, starting enemy red buff, is what we're gonna see all game long. He's not afraid of Amazing. He can't really get close with the Trundle, and there's just so much damage coming from Kikis specifically on the Graves. We're gonna see counter jungle, and we're going to see Kikis try and win the early game.
And as far as Vitality trying to play out this early, I don't think they have to gank bot lane immediately, right? Like, this lane will win by itself. It's more about getting protection for Cabochard, because that's maybe the one vulnerability here, is the top lane. Kikis can now split the map and keep Amazing off this top side.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for Schalke in terms of picking lanes to gank. Jarvan, as you said, is one option. They can block the EQ combo. Kikis is around mid, and it's what I like to see. Try and shut down Nuketox early, because he's the one who needs to get ahead of Schalke's side.
Nuketox also only level 1. Passive is going to get proc. Kikis not going to chase him this time around.
Now, here's the thing. It might look like it's a gank in the mid lane, but it's really to get pressure and then go for Scuttle Crab. He might actually just run it right back up into the top lane and go for double Scuttles again. That's what worked so well in the last game, was Kikis getting both Scuttle Crabs and creating a large advantage after triple buffing Amazing, which is looking oddly familiar.
Yeah, and Amazing only got to take his own bot side right there. Coppershot got early level 2, wins the trade, and now Amazing will be able to go top lane and get some camps because Kikis is now doing what looks like a massive clear in his own jungle.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the numbers. In the previous game, Kikis on that Kindred got way ahead of Amazing on that Poppy. You can see KDA 4-11, 52% jungle proximity, the amount of time that Kikis spent around his laners, and 6 kills plus assists. Now, that was the polar opposite of what had happened in the 2 previous games.
It was such a stark difference because in games 1 and 2, Amazing was the super active jungler. He was finding ganks and, more importantly, countering the attempts every single time Kikis tried to make a move himself. So this is one of those situations where Kikis looks like he jumps out to the early lead with counter jungling the red buff. Now it's Amazing inside his jungle to react.
Yeah, good pivot here from Amazing. He's actually getting the best out of a poor matchup on his side. Bot side clear into then invading and getting the enemy blue buff. Might even secure a gank on top side.
Oh, is there a kill potential? Because Chachi can find the wall pin. He knows how to do the heroic charge, and he lands it. Hammer shot comes down. Chachi's down to 250 hit points. That's a flash from Cabo. He's being chased. 100 HP.
Oh, Chachi! Oh!
The interrupt happens. Here comes Kikis. Smoke screen comes down. Starting to fire out those shots. End of the line is available to him, but he's low on mana. Holds the trigger for now.
And seriously, this is a jungler we just criticized from his impact in the last game. On the side of Schalke here, what a great start from Amazing, invading, getting blue buff, then securing a gank. Let's see what happens top. They stop the recall.
The Demacian standard comes down. Flag and drag is available to Cabo. Amazing's trying to run for his life. Jizuke flashes forward for the taunt, and that's going to be an easy secure. First kill of the game for Vitality.
Great reply here from Vitality. Cabo did get punished, but this is how they like to play. Jizuke will sack minions in the mid lane. He's down almost double in CS to Nuke Duck, but he gets top lane back into a good spot.
Well, instant teleport back from Vizichachi. I was holding my breath because I saw Kikis lingering on the bottom. Decides not to chase in a little bit more. Cabo shot, manages to get the assist. And here's a replay of that tower dive. Well, first kill and then playing forward.
Yeah, first the gank here. Caboshot knows he can't EQ out because of the W from Chachi. And Chachi knows, wait for it, and then flash onto him, and you will interrupt it, and you guys will get the kill. Probably actually didn't even need that, because Amazing was just going to bite him and take him down. But anyway, that was the entire setup. I just like Amazing's way out of what could be a terrible situation and getting the best out of it.
Yeah, but I also want to highlight, Kikis had the option to completely split the map, go for both Scuttle Crabs, and shut Amazing down. Instead, he went to his bottom side to get both red buffs, which ended up being a big mistake because that top lane, as I said, is vulnerable to early aggression.
And in that previous game, Kikis did get both Scuttles. Kikis did take advantage of the early game. Questions around the pathing and some adjustments from Amazing. He's 1-0. He's already got that Chilling Smite upgrade for now. Schalke with a very, very small gold lead, thanks to some CS advantages in the mid lane and the fact they've got that first blood bonus as well. And the question is, where does Amazing go next? How does he start to unlock this gameplay? Because as Jizuke gets closer to 6 and Kikis wants to start invading, it's going to get more difficult.
I mean, bot lane is also an opening for him. You have Alistar plus Pillar from Amazing. Like, that's a great way to force a flash from Vitality's bottom lane if they're pushing forward. So there is a lot of lanes for him to gank. Problem for him is, if he goes for a gank and gets counter-ganked by Kikis, he most likely dies.
And also, Jizuke should be hitting level 6 very soon, so going to a side lane would be more difficult right now. Vitality are actually bringing multiple members into the mid lane, try and shut down Amazing, who's actually back on the offensive. This is the second time inside the enemy jungle for him this game.
Oh, time to fight. Amazing and Vander are right nearby. Jizuke doesn't have access to his ultimate. Jackson steps forward, and here comes Kikis. Smokescreen will block sometime, and Nukeduck's escaping with his life so far. Jizuke's the first to fall. Now Jackson's low. Amazing's looking to get another one. Here comes Upset. He's going to get the first kill. Actually secured by Nukeduck. Now the Pillar of Ice throws down and slows down Kikis. Vander's looking for the stun. Manages to find it into the root. And Vitality get wrecked by Schalke.
And just like game 2, it's Schalke winning the early fights here. They trade 1-for-1 top side, and then Nukeduck gets level 6 in the mid lane. No match from Jizuke, and it's just actually 2 members from Vitality starting the fight while Kikis is doing his camps. Miscommunication, and it completely goes in favor of Schalke.
It's a big mistake, too, because you'll notice Kick is actually pretty far away at the start of this fight, and Vander has made the rotation down, so Jizuke and Jackal sort of get stuck in the middle of these 3 members of Schalke. Kika still hasn't done anything in this fight, and he loses a member because of it.
And notice just how much control Vitality lost instantly after Caboshot died top lane, and they didn't get that Kikis, you know, XP advantage. Kikis just making sure Amazing is not doing anything. It's actually now Schalke and Amazing with 4, or being part of 4 kills.
And if Kikis is down in levels as Graves into Trundle, it's pretty doomed for him because he needs to be constantly counter-jungling, getting a lead, building up items, because that's really where he comes online. But falling behind is something that absolutely should not happen in this matchup.
And I remember what Amazing looks like when he's got 100% kill participation before 15 minutes with Schalke. It tends to lead to a very strong mid-game. Amazing 1-0-3. He is currently in the top half of his map, while Kikis, with the help of Jackal and Attila, are able to shove in and steal away that blue buff. So that is a jungle steal, but Nukeduck stood right on top of the ward, so Kikis moves to, you know, safely through the pits.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Kikis level 6, and then the next play he makes with it. If that goes in favor of Vitality, they can be right back in the game, they can start to snowball. But now you're down 1,000 gold and 1,600 gold already, and your jungle matchup is actually 2 levels down. He will take the camp and get level 6. Caboshot is trying something mid.
All right, here comes Cabo. I'm waiting for the Cataclysm. No yells yet for Demacia. Jizuke is going to get rooted down by those ethereal chains. And Amazing decides not to go in. Remember, Kikis has not shown yet. Schalke don't want to start a 2v2 and all of a sudden have Kikis show up and interrupt the flow. So instead, they back away, and Amazing's going to get the crab.
And if I'm Vitality now, I almost feel forced to pivot and say, you know what? Bot lane is where we're winning. We have BF Sword on Attila. That's where we need to get a turret. That's where we need to get the advantage, because it's not going to be topside. The more armor Vizicachi is going to stack, the harder it is for Graves and Jarvan to kill him.
And let's be honest, you're not killing this LeBlanc in the mid lane with a Jarvan ultimate. She's just going to dash out, so he still has the flash, so camping mid can't be the strategy anymore. They need to use this hero's entrance to now impact the side lanes.
Well, side lane is being impacted, but it's the other direction, and Cabashot's being dove. He's got no flash available to him. Cataclysm goes down, and the Whirling Death, while it gets some damage, simply doesn't matter. Hat trick secured for Nukeduck.
Schalke are now controlling this top side. Vitality are not getting the early advantage they need. They draft the Graves. They want to just shut down Amazing. He doesn't care.
It is a 3,000 gold lead, just shy of it, by 9 minutes to Fischio. This Trundle pick has worked. It is still 100% kill participation. And Amazing is exactly where he needs to be for Schalke 04.
And Amazing has gotten this team ahead, but we're now at a point where Nukeduck is 3-0-0 on the LeBlanc. He has the completed Luden's Echo as well. So this guy is poised to completely take over the game.
Oh, this is really going to hurt. And Nukeduck has already had Jazuke's number all series long. Now he just needs to extend that to everybody else.
And all that, you know, raw emotion and confidence you build up in the last game as Vitality when you beat them in 25 minutes, it fizzles out pretty quickly when you then end up in a game like this and your first few plays completely go in favor of Schalke. Their mid laner is fed at this point. You haven't really gotten anyone ahead. You need an opening, and you need it now.
Yeah, and that's why they continue to try and group up and start objectives in classic Vitality style. But you'll notice that Kikis is down 2 levels in this matchup against Amazing, so if they ever try to make a play as a grouped up team and Schalke match them, they're just going to get blown out of the water.
I want to see how Upset also plays these next few minutes. He's 1-0-1. He's even on CS with Attila. We've seen that swap already. And he's got the Halo Blades Jhin, something that we've seen a little bit during the course of summer. And Enda, I know you were extremely excited about the build, so you'll get to talk about it after this fight. Because at the moment, the target is Jack Troll. He's instantly been rooted down. That stand behind me, and the shield is going to block so much damage. He escapes without even using a summoner.
And they know they can do this. They have information topside with the deep wards. There's only one camp alive for Kikis to do, and that's on the other side of the map. That's Rift Hell being started as well, and Kikis is trying to play catch-up with the Graves.
Yeah, now it's Schalke's turn to make that proactive play because they are just that strong. And you mentioned the Hail of Blades Jhin, of course, will be finishing the Storm Razor very soon. And what this gives him is the power to move around in these fights. Big, bursty damage on those impactful auto attacks, and then the mobility to try and dodge away from the engage potential of this Vitality squad.
Well, so much time for Upset to get there. His team is 5-1 up. It's only 11.5 minutes in the game, and you can see Vitality, they're now grouping. It's actually a 5-man stack in the mid lane, and they're trying to push forward. Nukeduck's used the distortions on cooldown, but look, they back away. Nothing presented itself.
Yeah, 5-man grouping mid on your Galio, who has an ulti he wants to use to the side lanes.
Yep.
It's not your way back in the game right now if you are Vitality. Attila is still strong on the Draven. Use him as your carry and try to get him ahead.
I also think Vitality can afford to slow the game down. Usually we talk about go in. But again, when you're on a double marksman composition, you will deal so much damage when you're on 4, 5, 6 items that you can afford to buy time and get to that point. The difficulty is that when they keep grouping up in the mid lane and trying to force fights, is that they lose minions, gold, and experience in these side lanes. So it's really costing them in the end because they're trying to make these proactive moves.
Oh, so much difficulties for Vitality to overcome, and they haven't shown this series that they can play from behind. So can they do it now? Can they find a way back into this game? Deficio, you said when Kikis gets level 6, you want to see his first sort of gank with that collateral damage. We haven't had an opportunity yet, so my eyes are still on him. But when does it become too late? When does it become too little?
I mean, the problem already for him is he's spotted every time because of the information Schalke are getting in the side lanes. Nukeduck has full control of mid, and Jazuke has not been allowed to move just yet. So Kikis at this point almost feels like he's just a burden for his team and not actually right now able to bring any sort of advantage with his counter pick.
Right, what Kikis and the rest of Vitality need to do is put down vision and try to stop Schalke from continuing to kill them. Take down a turret with the Rift Herald right here, which is very likely going to happen. But you notice Cabochard is on the side and maybe wanting to go in.
That's a very good taunt into a flag and drag. Cataclysm comes down, but Nukeduck flashes away. He gets away with his life. Cabochard and Jazuke now running for their life. This is turning into a 2v3. Hero's entrance comes down and the tower will survive a couple seconds longer. The tower does survive. In fact, tower first blood still available. Kikis, does he go for the insta-give? Does he go for the kill? Not just yet. Schalke no fear now. They're trying to turn it around. Can they defend their outer tower?
They should be able to right here unless Nukeduck gets taken down very close on the whirling death from Attila.
Also, the ulti from Kikis was used right there, but I think Vander managed to block quite a lot of it.
Now here's the thing, again, Vitality group up and force fight, and it's close, but they don't get a kill, they don't get a turret, and right now top lane, Upset cleared an entire minion wave, denied a full wave to the tower, and gets more damage down.
I mean, Schalke won that fight by just getting so much damage on the turrets. It doesn't even matter with the kills. And we kept saying, going mid lane and trying to kill Nukeduck is really difficult and not your way back, and they tried with everything they had. They landed combos with CC, burst damage, but because it's LeBlanc, she can get out of it.
And she still has the flash at the end of it all as well. Yes, they saved the tower, but actually, Nukeduck is just showing how strong he is at the given time.
Yeah, trying to burst down Attila. Didn't find the opportunity yet. And now all of a sudden, Kikis is in trouble, but there's no follow-up, there's no cataclysm. Kikis can easily walk away. He's got flash as well.
He's gotten his armor. He's against double physical damage. He doesn't care.
Yeah, really, really easy for them. Now, of course, 15 minutes in the game. Schalke are on the verge of winning the series 3-1. Just a quick reminder to everybody that tomorrow, Fnatic, the defending champions, take on Misfits. And I have an update for you, gentlemen. It is confirmed with the Fnatic roster and with our League Ops team that Reckless will be starting in Game 1 with Whippo in the top lane. So tune into that tomorrow at 5 p.m. There's a lot of questions about whether or not Whippo would play bots and what that team would look like. Have you predicted who's going to win yet, Deficio?
I put it on Fnatic.
Okay.
I got it on Misfits, so it's going to be a close one regardless.
I'll tune into that one tomorrow at 5 o'clock. For now, Vitality, do or die. They managed to get the Mountain Drake, so a little bit of scaling, a little bit of late game in their favor. But with Nukeduck playing that confident with the distortion, the mimicked distortion, jumping onto Attila, it's so difficult to be Draven in this game.
Especially once this outer turret in the mid lane falls. Once that goes down, if he's ever walking around by himself in the jungle, you better believe that Schalke will be entering, looking for picks with Nukeduck, with Vander, going for these engagements, because that's really where they win. They're not going to have an insane team fight, I don't think. They're going to win through picks and pressuring through these side lanes.
I just want to see what ends up happening when we get that first fight in the game, because we know Vitality's way back when they feel pressured as a team is to group fight and try and force something. Can they actually win that fight, or will Schalke, who are at this point just stronger based on carries and even based on frontline, just win it and then say, Vitality, you got nothing?
See, I don't think so, because Vizichachi's signature Poppy is so good. What he can do is just knock away the Vitality frontline and leave Kikis and Attila exposed to the assassination from Nukeduck.
Oh, they're trying to side, finally.
Oh, there's a flash away from Vander. Nobody was able to hold him in place long enough, but this just, it really makes things so interesting. Schalke, a little bit defensive. They're amazing forced to use his flash as well, but it looks like Nukeduck will be able to take this tower down. One step forward, and here comes Chachi for support. Schalke no fear now trying to turn this one around. Flag and drag finds nobody. Cabashot has now got that on cooldown. Needs to find a target. He goes for the Cataclysm onto Nukeduck, and Ethereal Chains come down. Now Vizichachi is trying to get the chomps down, and we've got a pause. We've got ourselves a pause, and it is a spicy one. Ooh, 4,000 gold lead for Schalke, and it is a Vitality pause. The moment I hear more, I will let you know.
Just as we have to fight here, Disuke got out, but he's now ulting back in onto Caposhot.
And I think the big part about this fight, just looking at the minimap, obviously you guys can't see it right now, but it's Vitality's dual lane that's actually rotating to this fight a little bit faster. So I think if this fight does continue in the way it's heading, if Vitality can buy enough time for Attila and Jack Troll to arrive, they should have the advantage.
And they need this fight. You're
so
already down 4,000 gold. You have a composition with the Graves counter pick that in the early game started enemy red buff, and their Trundle started his own blue. You had everything lined up for yourself to just shut him down. But Amazing swapped sides with the Graves, took his blue buff, ganked top lane, secured a kill. Like, he did everything he could have done in that situation. He got the best out of it.
And it's unbelievable to see the turn and the strength that Schalke have demonstrated. I have an update for you, gentlemen. The claim from Caboshot is that LeBlanc's Ethereal Chains were not visible to him. As we have done many times already in this playoffs here in EU LCS, League officials will investigate that footage. They will look at the POV from Caboshot. from his PC. And the moment we get confirmation on whether or not he could or could not see that spell, and we'll provide you an update. But I'm going to go back to this early game Schalke for a team that, you know what, the only thing they had left to do to improve on was their early game. If you look at their run over the last 5 weeks of the split, where they went, what was it, 10-1, 11-1, they had really good gameplay everywhere. They worked on all of the weaknesses that we've seen even all year long, and this weekend they've shown they can play early game too.
Yeah, improving the early game was the most important thing, because the other 3 teams left in our top 4 are all really strong early game teams. And that's how they win their games. They have super, you know, clean, not clean, but they're very strong.
Yes.
Like snowballs.
Yes. Good
yeah,
correction.
clean was definitely not
Very
the word
good correction.
to use. They're very good at snowballing specific lanes, and then they can just kind of run over you in 25 minutes like Vitality did last time.
Yeah.
So that's why Schalke getting a better early game as the only slow team was important.
And you look at the Final Four, and exactly it's true, but you look at our EU Super 6, one of the most stacked playoffs we've had. Splice taking Schalke to full 5 games. Now Schalke on the verge of knocking Vitality out 3-1. This will be a pretty sizable upset in the professional scene. The fans at home called it. Just want to say, fans at home and on Twitter, you guys are the superior analyst with the 3-1 prediction. But I mean, it is very exciting, and then it just makes me tingle and say, can Misfits do it tomorrow? When you see all of these crazy games.
It raises so many of these questions because we already know we're going to be having another unique finals matchup in Madrid regardless of the results here today. But it's all these new orgs trying to fight their way into the finals. Schalke, Vitality, they haven't been there. So this match means so much just to have, you know, the honor of going up against a team that's been around like Fnatic or Misfits that did so well in Summer Split last year and had that incredible run at Worlds.
And of course, we zero into some of the player stories. We just had a very big close-up there of Attila. Attila versus Upset. In Spring Split, hell, Attila stood standing way above Upset.
Yep.
Made it all the way to 4th place, and Upset, unfortunately, didn't really shine. But this split, this series, it's been the other way around.
And I think for Attila, too, it felt like always, even after the 4th place finish last split, the talk was still about Upset, and oh, he's supposed to be the superstar next split, he'll come back even stronger, but Attila has always been there, consistent performer, doing so well. So this split, this match has been about proving that he is the better of the rookie AD carries, and he's going to have to step up massively again on the Draven to make that a dream reality.
I love he's going for the Draven. He's saying, I can carry this game. Do not give me utility. I want something where I can get fed. But the team hasn't played around him. They didn't do it last game. They didn't do it this game either. So he's still 0-0-0. And he needs, like, he's actually the only one who's done well in terms of his laning phase. He's just never gotten into a fight.
Well, we're going to find out exactly how the rest of this game plays out. I have an update again. League officials have determined that the ethereal chains was visible to Cabochard via his point of view. So we will be resuming the game shortly. And this is something I saw some discussion on last week on Reddit. And I really want to call out that I think pro players should pause and should question in these high-pressure, high-intensity situations. Double check and
here we go. We're back in the fight.
You know, verify the details, and let's see what difference it makes. Jizuke goes down to Nukta. The Ignite, I believe, was the final tip.
Here we go.
Tiller kills Amazing and gets a whole chunk of change. But now Vizichachi's running for his life. Here comes Upset. Can he do anything? Manages to get a couple shots down, but nobody is locked in place. It ends up 1-for-1.
It's just like I said at the start of the pause. Attila and Jackdaw were on the move first. They come back and end up trading 1-for-1 in the end.
Sadly for them, they did not get more for Draven here. Vizichachi just managed to walk away. In the end, I think the heal from Upset probably kept him alive. And Nukeduck, because he didn't die during the initial engagement, so before the pause, managed to jump back in and secure another kill. Because look at the setup here. It's once again, they're trying to get onto the LeBlanc, which is really difficult, but there's no flash. And that's why Cabochard knows he can actually jump onto Nukeduck and try and keep him in place. And now with the Draven they're hoping here, okay, come on, we can turn this around. We get a bunch of kills, but Draven is still late. He's not there yet.
Kikis as well. Both marksmen for Vitality were not there at the start, so it really was Jizuke buying so much time eventually for Attila to come on in and cash in that big passive stack that actually puts him ahead in gold over his opposition to Upset.
But we need more now from Vitality. They need another one. And this time they need more kills, especially for Attila, because they're going to lose another turret. They haven't picked up anything on their side. I actually think all the outer turrets from Schalke are pretty healthy as well. Close to like 100% HP. And that's a huge issue for Vitality because they need quick cash right now. They need to go take a quick loan. They don't even care how much money they have to actually pay back in like 10 years' time. They need it now.
futures market is not going to help the 4,000 gold deficit they
Not at
find
all.
themselves
Doesn't matter.
in now.
Get it now. Do something with it.
Well, I can't retroactively add it, I'm afraid. And for the time being, Vitality are down 2 kills to 6. Yes, they've got themselves that Mountain Drake, and there's an Ocean available in a moment or two, a couple minutes time. But it is still going to be about just stalling, getting time for Kikis and Attila to get the damage and become relevant in this game.
And potentially finding these fights where they get to mid a little bit faster. The issue is they need Schalke to also buy into these fights, because we've seen two different sides of the same coin where one, Schalke and Nukeduck are able to just disengage entirely and not go for the fight, and then Vitality lose a lot of resource in the side lanes. The other one is where they commit, and that's where Vitality could potentially come away with the victory.
Yeah, sadly for them, and we mentioned this in the start of the game, the one member they don't want to see fed on the other side is fed. It's Nukeduck. He's the hardest one for them to lock down with the Jarvan. They don't have super easy point-and-click CC to keep Nukeduck in place. They gotta catch him with these different skill shots, and he just jumps in and out.
And it's going to get especially tough now that he's actually going into side lanes, because there's not really a good champion that can match you. You probably put Jizuke in the 1v1 to just clear away minion waves, but eventually he's going to start wearing down on you in the 1v1, ticking away at turrets. And that's really where Vitality are going to be put into a position where they likely have to pull the trigger, but have to actually connect with that engagement to make it work.
20 minutes has gone by and the lead continues to grow ever so slightly. 5,000, just shy of it for Schalke. They are on the verge of their first finals. This organization that really came in very hyped in the spring split, did not live up to that hype. Made an adjustment, Pride out, Amazing in. And you know what? There was a lot of doubts at the beginning of that summer split. But the last 4 or 5 weeks of gameplay silenced a lot of critics, and all of a sudden, another big hurdle is just, you know, just tantalizingly close to being overcome. If they can do it, but look at
now here comes Vitality, because Amazing does not have flash. Every single member is coming, but the rest of Schalke is pushing the other lane.
Dude, the frozen domain is such a big movement speed buff. Amazing is literally able to run to the top lane tower. Now he will go down. Subjugate buys a little bit of time. Vizichachi gets damage on the bottom in a turret, and Upset is about to get to mid.
Yeah, I think Vitality almost have to go into a Baron right now, because Schalke are pushing in the middle lane. It's a 5 versus 4, and there's no jungler on the side of Schalke, but it's still so dangerous.
Curtain Call is available to Upset. He can throw that down. Nukeduck has got so much damage to play with. He's got 2 items completed. Here's Nukeduck waiting on the front. Vanda needs to find a flawless engage. Baron is being...
They got it! Oh, Jizuke!
Fantastic! Vitality are not done. Upset is being dunked on and killed by Cabo Shot. But Baron has been stopped. Vizichachi shuts down Attila on the back end. And so far it's a 1 for 2. Schalke are still winning the fight.
They're still winning them, and honestly, on the chase here against Jizuke and Cabochard, trying to run Kikis in a tough position, but they're turning it right back around.
All right, that's a defensive flash from Vanda. Keep your eyes on Nukeduck. The ethereal chains. Proc down. Not enough for the kill just yet. Flag and drag to safety. Nukeduck has put Schalke on his back and carried them through the Baron play.
I thought that Baron setup would decide the entire game in favor of Schalke, but they didn't actually fully win the fight here. Vitality picked up a kill at least. They will lose a turret on the way out, but they made a call. Chase down Amazing, kill the jungler, start the Baron.
And I think in the moment you have to make that call, but Nukeduck almost gets destroyed there by Jizuke and Kikis. The rest of Vitality are still looking for the chase.
Oh, the Whirling Death does so much damage, but now Nukeduck's going to run for his life. Amazing has made his way back up, and the teleport completed. All of a sudden, Amazing is once again in trouble. This is the wrong side of the rift, my friend. Subjugate is on cooldown, and Amazing is at threat of going down again. Could we just see the same player, or is it simply too risky? We'll find out from Vitality in a moment. Amazing is donated to Attila. Additional bonus gold, 3-1-0.
Yeah, they don't actually have to do it again. They're getting gold on the carry they need the gold on. Now they need to make sure they don't lose anything else. And then they can, in the end, be happy with a bunch of kills for the Draven.
Yeah, if you actually look at the gold, Attila's up almost 700-800 over Upset at the moment, and he's going to be dishing out so much damage. He has a Lord Dominic's Regards just cut through the armor on the side of Schalke, and he has 2 Black Cleavers from Kikis and Cabo to make him deal even more insane DPS.
Well, I keep repeating this. The fact that it's Nukeduck who's fed on Schalke is just the best thing for them, because he keeps doing this. He jumps in, gets someone down. That was, by the way, the top laner to 50% HP, and now Vitality can't move forward, and he will not stop because no one can point and click stun him.
And did you see how Jizuke was already prepping the taunt? Already waiting. If Nukeduck jumped in for that extra bit of poke, Glacial Fissure comes down, upset with the Halo Blade speed, as well as Rapid Fire Cannon escapes with his life. Vander gets a couple extra seconds thanks to his ultimate, but it's simply not enough. Attila, his 4th kill of the game. This is what Vitality want. This is what Vitality needs.
Attila just keeps getting kill after kill after kill. And honestly, Schalke getting a little bit sloppy, staying forward when we know Vitality are going to keep forcing fight after fight after fight.
They're getting a lot sloppy, and there's nothing little about this. Vitality take the first tower of the game. Nukeduck, unfortunately, not able to find that ethereal chains. And look at Vizichachi. He's coming from the bottom lane. The curtains are called, but the damage is simply not significant enough. Vizichachi's rocked up to defend the inner turret, and just like that, a gigantic breath of hope and life comes to Vitality.
I've said it before, I will say it again. Vitality, even in a deficit, play like they have a lead. They're the ones grouping up, forcing down the mid, and now on to Chachi.
Chachi manages to get stunned down, locked up, knocked up. Cataclysm not used yet. Chachi's going low. Keeper's Verdict has been used, and Vizichachi's down. Jizuke's running for his life. That's a 2-man knockup from Vander. Vitality are routed and running. Cabo looks for the re-engagement, simply doesn't find it. Now we need to follow Attila. He's untouched for now, but can he take on 4? Pillar of Ice slows things down. Jack Troll trying to block. Here comes Nukeduck from the side.
Oh.
Body blocked by Jack Troll. All of a sudden, Schalke, they smell blood in the water, but they're not going to find anybody just yet.
Oh, they got one now.
Oh, that's
Jizuke's
a kill
low.
from Upset, and that's a double kill. Jizuke goes down. Attila will be the last man standing off the kickers. He's blown up, and Vander sets it up for Upset to close it down.
It's Upset's turn to do the damage now. He turns it around. We're going to check this play out one more time because, again, it's Vitality grouped up in the mid. But you have to remember, Vander has respawned and is coming in to set up this fight.
And it's just such a long fight with Chachi in the front line, not dying early enough, that Upset and Nukeduck get so much time to get in. Now the cooldowns are gone. They can actually find the backline eventually after killing Capo Shot. And in the end, Schalke, while they gave away a couple of kills, they still knew they were stronger. They kept looking for a fight, and as long as they were 5 together, they won.
And it's so ideal for Schalke as well because they're totally fine trading frontliners because once Vitality's frontline goes down, it makes it that much easier for Nukeduck to flank and access this back line because there's just frankly no one there to body block those skill shots and protect for Kikis and Attila.
And the only way back in this game for Vitality is Attila, hard carrying this, but he needs to burn through 3 tanks. And then he needs to actually try and kill either Nukeduck or Upset. It feels almost impossible for a single AD carry to do it.
Luckily, they have 2. But Kikis,
That other guy doesn't really count.
Kikis is not doing well enough this game. He's got the Warrior Enchant and Black Cleaver at 26 minutes in, but there's simply not enough damage. Gentlemen, coming into today's semi-final, no matter who won, we would have a new first-time finalist. And Schalke 04 are on the verge of being that team. Kickers take shot 3.
Oh, that's huge.
Shot 4 is being lined up and not fired yet. It's Attila that finally tanks it. Schalke 04 open the base. They've got Baron for another 2 minutes. The inhibitor is the focus for now.
But will Vitality pull the trigger? We've seen them in this situation before. Do they lose the inhibitor or do they make the play? Kikis get chunked.
Look at the damage from Nukeduck. That Sigil of Malice is burning through everybody on Vitality. The inhibitor is secured. Schalke are on the verge of victory. They just need to close it out. Now, they had a couple of messy plays. They cannot afford that lack of concentration and focus again, but they have all the tools they need to win the series.
Yeah, luckily for Schalke, those sloppy plays do not end up mattering because they won that following fight and took the Baron. So now they've had time to reset. Talk about, okay, what do we do here? How can we actually lose this game? By splitting up. Don't. 5 men together, you already got 1 in him, go for another one.
And they have players that have made it to finals but never gotten a win. They're going for one now.
All right, Kikis gets knocked up into the air by the Keeper's Verdict, but it's simply not good enough. Capo Shot holds on to the Cataclysm. Here comes Jizuke, he's late to the party. He's holding on to the ultimate as well. The tower is the focus for Schalke, and they're not able to secure
the sun.
Glacial Fissure comes down, but
Vander!
Vander with the 4-man knockup. He's turning this around. Cabo gets the done.
Wait a second!
Cataclysm.
Attila!
That's double. Jizuke gets one back. Yamato Cannon and Vitality, they live to fight. Yet another day.
Vitality crushed the team fight with Jizuke coming in on the flank. Attila stands strong. When he's alive at the end, that is when and where Vitality can win the fight.
Is it enough, Deficio?
It has to be for Vitality. There's no other way out. You need to keep winning these fights, and you need your AD carry to deal so much damage against this front line. But what happened here was Chachi ended up taking a lot of damage in the start, then went back in towards the turret, and that opened up for an engage onto him, where he's effectively out now.
Yeah, watch this engage here too. The two-man taunt on the front line from Jizuke, just keep them in place, and then Cabo diving into the back ending, the four-man Cataclysm to set up for Attila.
And Nukdog didn't get to do a whole lot. When he jumped back in with the distortion, that's when he got knocked up by Caposhot. And Nukdog ends up also dropping. Big fight. And Drake, second one, is actually important because Schalke will still be ahead by the time Elder Drake spawns if we just keep it as it is now. But they will get an Elder Drake without a whole lot of value. And that is still a key way for Vitality to continue going late game.
And the Baron buff has run out for Schalke now, so the game slows down. Vitality can lick their wounds for a little bit, go back to base. Attila now has a Death's Dance on top, so he's going anti-burst.
Did he insta-buy that? I think
He had a Vamp Scepter, that was it.
Okay, look at his build though, like, it's very defensive. Like, there's not a lot of crit coming in from Attila.
I mean, Nukdog is 6-1 and 4. He needs to be defensive to try and survive against that burst.
He definitely needs it. But he also wants more damage because
it feels bad, man.
There is, of course, Kikis and Jizuke, as we saw in the last fight. If they get enough time, they can do it. But this Graves is only on 2 items, so it still takes him a ton of time to actually kill a front line. And let's take a 5-on-5 without Chachi tanking effectively 70% of his HP before the fight even started. And then, I don't know if Vitality have enough damage.
But I'm looking at this next 5v5. I see no flash on Upset, and Caboshard has a Cataclysm. Without the flash on the Jhin, you will be found out in every single fight and you will be burst down. That is the key, I think, for Vitality to turn around and win another team fight.
And Caboshard is just north of the squad. He's looking for an opportunity. He has flash available to him as well. So if Upset steps too far forward, he will get jumped on.
They know he's waiting because no one is showing in the side lanes right now, and it's waves being pushed down by Schalke. See, Caboshard ends up just recalling now. Schalke called the bluff. And now they're pushing forward.
Yeah, because Vitality have to respond and react to these side lanes. That gives Schalke a lot of time. We're 2 minutes away from the Baron buff spawning. Now Schalke put down all this deep vision, clear away the wards of Vitality to set up for the next Baron.
But we have to see that. All in from Caposhot. I don't care if he flashes in an ult onto Upset. He gets then just Jizuke ult straight onto him, and you kill the AD carry. That feels like the way for Vitality to win the next fight.
And this next fight will be around the Baron, and I think it's the one to decide the game. Attila recognizes that as well. He has an elixir of wrath to make him that much stronger for this next 5-on-5. In 1 minute and 20 seconds, that's when the game is decided.
So much tension. 1 minute and 10 seconds until Baron comes up. Guardian Angel is picked up by Upset. The problem with Guardian Angel, if you're locked inside a Cataclysm with the Galio on top of you with Graves following up, is there enough time for the rest of Schalke to build enough safety to get Upset out? That's what I need to watch.
Yeah, because I think the Guardian Angel is just about buying time and actually making him a less desirable target. Vitality know he doesn't have a flash, but if they know he can just get back up and fight again, that makes it a lot less appealing to make that engage happen. But you'll notice Vitality grouping up before Baron spawns. They're losing pressure in side lanes, but they need vision so that Schalke just can't take that from out under their nose.
All right, Vizichachi doesn't have teleport available to him, nor does Caboshard.
But what's important here is by Schalke splitting up, they force Vitality to go back and defend again, meaning they don't get the engage onto the AD carry without flash. Schalke can keep waiting for this key summoner spell to be ready. Let's see again, back to split pushing, no one can stop Nukdog 1v1.
It is 1 minute and 20 seconds before that flash is available. Baron is up in 20. Do Schalke wait the full minute, stall until it's up? That's the question I have for this game. The time being, the answer is no, because Schalke are pushing this mid-wave out again. You can see Jizuke's caught and shoved back bottom, but top lane still in favor of Schalke.
And Schalke know that eventually Vitality will walk into the brush, will face check to put down vision. Kikis going in first would be a disaster for them if they get picked.
Caboshard, I keep looking at you. What are you going to do in this fight here? Upset is really far back. You can't easily get to him. Remember, Chachi as well can try and deny the entrance. Vitality gets to push. Big wave coming towards the top lane turret. they probably have to just ignore it for now if they want to get a fight.
Exactly, because Vitality pushed out mid, now they get to walk back towards the Baron. They're losing a lot of minions to that top lane, but they can now supply some of their own vision against Schalke.
And Schalke love this situation. They are known to play fairly slow at this point, but it's a good thing because they're building big waves. They're forcing you to go back and defend, and then you lose control of the Baron, and then you have to rush from the minion wave to the Baron, and you might show up too late. So they're still in full control, but let's see if we can get the engage.
All right, take a look. Jack Troll manages to get the Winter's Bite. Pillar of Ice slows everybody down. Upset still in the back line. His flash is not available yet. Nobody gets rooted down by their deadly flourish. And Schalke, they've got themselves some pressure. It looks like that flash has just become available. So Schalke, they hold on to this 5k gold lead that feels like they've had for the better part of 30 minutes. But the Baron is the objective, and neither team has very good vision. Actually, they have no vision around the objective.
And while Schalke play slow, Vitality play fast. They're the ones starting up the Baron with Jizuke on the flank.
Because Vizichachi's in the bottom lane. Look at Jizuke.
They got amazing.
They've got amazing. There's no smite available. Vander now forced to run away with his life. He's forced to flash and use that ultimate already.
Yeah, it's not over yet here. Schalke can still defend around Baron. They have Chachi. He's very tanky. He can get in the middle of the entire team. So Nukedag and Upset can deal damage.
Oh, this is going to be so difficult. Vizichachi's used the teleport. He's coming up. Keeper's Verdict is available. Nukedag gets away from stand aside.
Look for the taunt flash from Jizuke. He's landed multiple of them so far in this series. Chachi misses ulti.
Yeah, there's simply no follow-up on that Keeper's Verdict. It's a Rafflecopter. Forced to flash away from Vizichachi. Upset takes a gigantic chunk from that spinning axe. So does Chachi. Here comes Nukedag, trying to find out Jack Troll. Manages to jump backwards to the distortion. Importantly, the Baron is not being focused. The Baron is reset.
And Amazing is respawning, so while Vitality are moving back over towards that objective, Schalke now have 5 members back on the map. They're going to be rushing here to get back into this fight.
Vitality are playing from behind. They were 0 and 5 when behind at 15 minutes. Can they turn this game around? Amazing is up and making his way in. He's now making it close to the pit. Baron is about to be secured by Vitality. There's a Chachi's down low. Jizuke's alive. He's taken out by Nukedag. It's a trade back, 1 for 1. All of a sudden, are trying to wreck Vitality. The Guardian Angel comes back up. Schalke have won the fight.
And look at the mid lane. They might have just won the game and won the series. Quick shot. Everyone is dead. Vitality are wiped, and Schalke have the Nexus in their eyes.
Gigantic death timers. Vitality did everything in their power to come back into this game. Everything to slow and stop Schalke Nullfear. But it simply was not enough. Vitality, they won the tiebreakers, but they falter in the semi-finals. And for the first time ever, Schalke Nullfear are in the finals. Schalke deserve all of the celebration.
Really simple, really brown.
They showed up to play today and contained, controlled, and crushed Vitality in the early game.
Definitely true. We did not think they could actually beat Vitality early, but they did. Game 2 and Game 4, they won based on what they did early.
But still, Vitality putting up one hell of a fight at the end right there. Attila doing everything in his power to turn things around. The crowd still in support of their team. And it's going to be a 3rd, 4th place match for Vitality, but they're still fighting for their path to Worlds.
We have to remember, Fnatic makes it to the final. Vitality, by getting 3rd place, can still try and go to Worlds as a 2nd seed. Requires Fnatic to win, obviously, and get the 1st one.
Yes, and of course that is the important thing about championship points. If Fnatic win the split and Vitality win 3rd, because Vitality win the 3rd, 4th decider in spring, because they're there again in summer consistently throughout the entire season, can get you to the World Championship. You can see Vander, amazing. All of Schalke on your screen. That man had something to prove. And Amazing has done it. The critics are loud and proud, and today he may have shut a lot of them up.
I mean, it's true. He went from relegation with Mysterious Monkeys became an analyst on the EU LCS broadcast, returned to play for Schalke in the summer split, takes the team with him all the way to the final, and he was the man we looked at in the third game saying he's a problem. But in this fourth game, his early game on that trundle was so important.
It's just incredible. You usually do not see that level of emotion after a victory, but it just goes to show how much it means to this player. Proving all the haters wrong, coming out games 1, 2, 4, dominating in the early game and taking Schalke to their very first finals as an organization.
Ladies and gentlemen, your all-pro AD carry Upset is in his first finals in his second split ever. Amazing is back. This boy's done it all. He's gone to World to the EU, gone to World to the NA, gone relegated with Mysterious Monkeys, but
Still not won the EU LCS.
Last story. Nukeduck is back in a final. The last time he was in a final was 2013. 2013.
His very first split.
Summer split. It has been a very long time. Nukeduck with the most unique champions. That LeBlanc performance in game 4 is there. He has another shot at the title.
Irelia performance game 2 as well was spot on. It's hard to believe someone could leave the hype train. And whoever did, they feel very bad right now because Schalke with their preparation, they're really showing up in these best of fives. A lot of credit to the players for having a lot of flexible champ pools now, especially if you look at the mid lane with the amount of things he can bring out, but also the coaching staff using it.
I don't think I've seen a more accurate award for Coach of the Split before a series, to then see that preparation, see all the weaknesses Schalke had being fixed both from draft, playstyle, and early game.
I mean, they just went through a complete transformation from quarterfinals to semifinals, showing that it's not just this play-to-late game style. They can actually scrap in the early game. And when you go up against a Fnatic or a Misfits, you know you're going to have to fight in the early game. And after their performance today, regardless of who they face off against, I think that team's going to be a little bit nervous coming into that game.
I also just want to turn it towards Vitality specifically. I think a lot of us had so many expectations for Kikis and what he was going to do in the early game for Vitality, but we look at the Kindred game in game 3 and we say thumbs up, that's Kikis. That's the guy we saw go 11-1 when he joined the team. We look at the Graves game here, it was all on him. He got the counter pick, he had the perfect start, takes the enemy red buff, and then it just goes downhill from there. And that is a big, big issue when the team has been built around him since he joined, and then he's not able to actually carry.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's true. And it faltered in the final hurdle in the semifinals. We will see Vitality in that third, fourth decider. We'll find out who their matchup will be tomorrow. Before that, though, it's time to come back to Schalke and talk about player of the series. Nukeduck, Upset, and Amazing are your options. Head over to @LOL Esports on Twitter and vote. We will announce that either during the interview or during post-game lobby. Schalke are ready for the EU LCS Summer Final in Madrid next Sunday. First time ever. In PGL, Amazing and Upset will be joining us. Talk a little bit more about tonight's series, as well as look ahead to tomorrow, where Fnatic take on Misfits. First game is at 5 p.m. Ready Check starts at 4:30. I asked him who he thinks going to win. I need to get your prediction as well. You think you said Misfits?
I've got Misfits. It's 5-game series, but it's a Misfits win for me.
Okay, Misfits win for him, Fnatic win for him. We'll find out who the superior analyst is tomorrow. For more on Schalke's win, let's head to Dracos and Nukeduck.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. 2013 summer, everyone, a young Lemon Dogs lineup made it to finals. 2018, Nukeduck, you're back. Second time in finals, 5 years apart. How are you feeling right now?
I can't describe how I'm feeling. Like I'm extremely happy, and I'm just happy all around. Yeah.
It's a long journey, man. 5 years. Talk to me about how much you've changed as a player from those days on Lemon Dogs to now your time on Schalke.
I think actually back then I was more similar to what I am now compared to in between, where like I tried to like do a shift when I got banned and I went back on a team. I tried to take more like a backseat role and just try to follow the team and let them do like the macro stuff and stuff. But now I'm more involved again, just like I was back in season 3, because back then I was really the guy like leading the team, how we should play and what we should do. And now I'm not, it's not as much now, but I'm still in the right way, more like hands-on now with how we play as a team.
It's good to hear that leadership coming through strong for you. I mean, this is a truly happy day. There were a few moments of darkness on the path, though. Was there ever a moment where you thought, hey, I might not make it back to an LCS final? Yeah,
of course. Like it was so long time, 5 years, and I was not even really close, you know, in any of the past splits. Like I was always out in playoffs or out in quarters. So I was thinking, you know, like, will I ever go back, you know? And it was, you know, like dark thoughts, but yeah.
Didn't come true in the end, though. Here on this Schalke lineup, you do make it to finals. We'll find out your opponent tomorrow, but talk to me about what is different about this team. You've said you're different, you're more in charge, you're more in command like you were back in 2013. What's different about the team that you're playing on these days?
So we just have like a really good group of guys. Everyone is respecting each other, and I think we have like a really good balance where everyone on our team has, you know, like their own creative plays, and everyone kind of chips in, and that creates like our whole play style. And everyone is part of it, and we just all click together.
You could see that on stage. Lots of people stepping up to make this win happen. You know, amazing. You upset Chachi. Pretty much everyone feels like they had a hand in it. Now, when you look at this moment in your career, is this the peak? Is this the highest level that you, Nukeduck, have ever been on as a professional player?
It's hard to say. I mean, even if it was to be the highest, it's still not the peak, you know, because the peak is the top. So we want to go further, you know. We definitely want to go to Worlds, and we want to win in Madrid.
All right, well, then I want to hear it. Who do you want to face in Madrid? Fnatic or Misfits are the choices remaining, and what do you think the results are going to be?
Yeah, so I think Fnatic is probably going to win, but I want to face Misfits, obviously. It's kind of correlated with I think if Fnatic will win, because we don't have a good record against Fnatic. And it would also be really fun to play against Misfits, because we actually live on the same street, like 100 meters from each other. So facing them in Madrid would be, you know, really fun.
I like it. The camaraderie showing through, even in a finals match, even on a big stage. Well, thank you, Nukeduck, for taking the time to me. We're going to toss over to Shox and the post-game lobby.